we bring you Lagos, the economic capital of Nigeria. But we cannot bring you Lagos without giving you a little background about Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the largest economies in Africa, used to be the largest. It is anything between the 26th and 30th largest economies in the world. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And as usual, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Today, we bring you Lagos. We cannot bring you Lagos without giving you an entire body of work. Anything else, in popular terms, you could say is completely uncivilized. When you look at Lagos, you have to look at all aspects of Lagos to really appreciate Lagos, whatever that means. There's no question that the Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki, and Oniru Peninsula of Lagos is one of the most beautiful real estates, and shopping and nightlife and restaurant life and vibrance you can find anywhere in the world, with very expensive real estate, for the most part, very well manicured compounds and nice hotels and all that. But you cannot look at that in isolation without taking a good look at the slums of Makoko in the Ebute-Metta area. You cannot look at Lagos without taking a good look at the ghettos of Ajegunle and Mushin and Agege and Oworonshoki and all those parts of Lagos. But most importantly, for safety reasons, you cannot look at Lagos without looking at the thug factor, the thuggery factor. Lagos is one of the major cities in the world where the gangs and thugs that operate in the streets are more or less funded by the government, which means that as a political opponent or as a journalist that writes what's going on in Lagos objectively, life can be very uncomfortable if you venture into Lagos, because the politicians that control Lagos will make sure that they make life miserable for you in Lagos if you get away with your life. Now, why is that significant? That is significant because leading up into the election, the story the world heard was that the man who became president, don't ask me how, was the man who built Lagos. So more or less, Lagos is Bola Ahmed Tinubu's claim to fame. Fine. On the other hand, we also know that the thuggery and the embarrassment that Lagos has become in terms of slum living and thug living and ghetto living and devil-may-care attitude in the streets was also, for the most part, introduced by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cohorts, who want to iron-handedly run Lagos. But now they are talking about duplicating what they did in Lagos nationally, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is this genius that built Lagos, built the beauty of Lagos, and now wants to duplicate that nationally. Let's go on a tour of Lagos, starting with the beautiful Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki, Oniru Peninsula, and then gradually come down to the slums of Makoko and other things that make Lagos what this beautiful city called Lagos is. Okay, now I'm taking you on a tour of this beautiful part of Lagos. But we're starting out on the, I think it's the Obala and this side, and now we're coming into Ikoyi. Ikoyi is a very beautiful place. There's no question about it. It is serene. It is high-priced real estate. It is beautiful offices, clean streets, beautiful restaurants, beautiful nightclubs, a lot of civility and uppityness going on. It is a world-class neighborhood. It's a world-class suburb at the level of any world-class suburb anywhere in the world. On this part of Lagos, I doff my hat to Lagos and Lagos administrators. But I must caution that I came to Lagos in 1961. And at the time I came to Lagos, Ikoyi was already beautiful. As a matter of fact, more serene, not as elegant with high rises as it is today, but in terms of cleanliness, serenity, expensive for the times, expensive homes, reserved. Ikoyi already had that. I left Lagos for the United States in 1978. Victoria Island was already beautiful. I say this because when I came to Lagos in 1961, I don't think Bola Ahmed Tinubu had ventured into Lagos from Oshogbo or wherever he came from. And I don't think that many of the thugs that run Lagos today, including the cronies that surround all the thuggery activities that are going on, many of them haven't migrated to Lagos from whatever villages in Yoruba land, hinterland they came from. But today they want to claim Lagos more than somebody who's been in Lagos since 1960 or 1950, simply because they claim they speak Yoruba. That's irrelevant. Going back to the tape, so Lagos, Ikoyi is beautiful. Nobody contends that. However, while you see a lot of these well-built structures that are sound, there are also a lot of white elephants. By that I mean beautiful structures that are just painted up to look beautiful, but in reality, all that glitters is not gold. When the previous administrators of Lagos, Mobolaji Johnson, the founding governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Jakonde, Ndubisi Kanu, Brigadier Marwa and all those people, when they were administering Lagos, Lagos was a more stable city. There was always thugs in Lagos, but the thugs in Lagos were controlled and seen as a menace. Today in Lagos, over the last 25 years, under the control, iron hand control of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lagos has become a city where thugs are actually approved as part of the way of getting things done. Which means if you want to be a yes person and walk around Lagos and do as they say, you're fine. But if you're going to come into Lagos with ideas that are different from what Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants, directly or indirectly, you're either going to be stopped in a warning civil way, and if you don't stop, God knows what happens to you. I seal my lips. But that's the Lagos that Bola Ahmed Tinubu built, and that's what his supporters brag that he will bring to Nigeria. Godswill Akpabio was bragging about it this last week. Wike walks around Abuja making plans of how to duplicate the thuggery that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has implemented in Lagos, how to duplicate it in Abuja. All that glitters is not gold. Let's now move into the slums of Makoko in the Ebutemeta area, just to contrast the beauty you just got through looking at in Ikoyi. Let's contrast it with the slums of Makoko. And I'll come back to the Lekki Oniru Peninsula to show you how the same Lagos has all these expensive homes, but not the cleanliness and organized things you saw in Ikoyi. But now you have beautiful chaos, people paying high money to buy homes in places where there are no good roads. There is no running water. There is no electric supply that is steady, and it continues to flood. It's the same Lagos that Bola Ahmed Tinubu focused on building thugs to maintain power, but not building infrastructure to make the city the world-class city it should be.
Makoko floating slum, the largest in the world. When Nigeria is mentioned, many immediately think of the Makoko slum, known as one of the largest slums in the world. Situated on a lagoon next to the Atlantic Ocean as part of Lagos, the largest city and main commercial and industrial center of Nigeria, Makoko was established in the 18th century as a fishing village. The houses in Makoko are built on stilts over the Lagos Lagoon. There are no official population records for Makoko, but estimates suggest around 250,000 people live in cramped wooden houses along the riverbank over polluted and debris-filled waters. Life here is incredibly harsh and difficult, with electricity and running water being luxuries for the impoverished. Domestic sewage and waste are directly discharged into the river, which they then continue to use for daily activities. The only way to obtain drinking water is to purchase it from vendors who source it from boreholes. The government does not provide free water to Makoko residents, as they discourage people from living there. Currently, this area operates mostly autonomously with minimal government presence in the community. Local security is maintained by young men from the slum. The Nigerian government is keen on demolishing this slum. In addition to being known as a large slum, Makoko is also recognized for a special floating school designed for about 100 students. This school, built to withstand rising water levels in the swampy area, caters to students of all ages. It includes classrooms and a play area, and is designed to endure harsh weather conditions. The three-story floating building stands on the water surface thanks to a system of floors made from 256 plastic barrels. The walls and ceiling are mainly made of wood, and the school is illuminated by solar panels. The classrooms are divided into a closed space on the middle floor, while the top floor has a classroom that opens out to the swampy area outside. The roof is designed with solar panels combined with a water drainage system to create a sustainable structure. The ground floor serves as a playground for children and a place where residents occasionally come to rest or engage in activities or meetings. The plastic barrel system underneath serves as both a water storage and a buoyancy device for the entire structure. Do you find this floating school structure interesting?
I don't find it interesting, but at least it's helping the kids. But now I went into Makoko myself too, to do a segment, and the approach is from Ebutemeta. If you know the Costain side of Ebutemeta, if you're coming in from there, this is our ride. I'm on a Kekena Pep. I was gonna take an Okada, but it was going to be very difficult to do my videoing from an Okada, so I took a Kekena Pep, and you're going to find it very interesting. I even joked around with the guy we hired, very clean Kekena Pep. I joked that he was trying to rip me off, but he didn't know that Omol enemy. So take a good look at what we did. See, I'm in the Keke with the people I'm working with. The driver thought he was gonna cheat us, but he didn't know that I'm more like kidding me. So we negotiated, and I'm enjoying this Keke ride. And then we're going into the innermost part. I saw a documentary on it, and I was so fascinated, and I really wanted to go there and do my own documentary and see the inner workings of the minds of the people who live and work there. Folks, this is Lagos. All the stuff to see are Lagos. Eko Atlantic City is Lagos. Lekki is Lagos. Ikoyi is Lagos. Ikeja GRA is Lagos. Ṣùgbọ́n Makoko is also Lagos. And until you come into these areas, you're living in artificial Lagos. And you cannot really understand what Lagos is all about. My preference would have been to do this on an Okada, but it's hard for me to be on an Okada in these rough roads and be able to video what I'm trying to video as we drive to our destination. And I want to live to video another day, so I decided to take the closest thing to Okada. Wow. Oh yeah. Now we're in the real, I don't want to call these creeks. These are just the slums. You see, they are canoes. That's how they move around the waters. We have some guys. And there's a lot of fishing going on here. When you've come to this part of Lagos, you can truly call yourself a Lagosian. Okay. And here comes another bridge across troubled waters. And you really have to step carefully. It's not, yeah, you have to know how you step. Yeah. But it works. It works for them. It's a maze. You go through the maze. Kids are living, kids are playing. What I really want to do is Tunde Chalet, like Bawon Yonsoro. Problem ni pe wala mi ni pe boya ni enough charge. Nto pe kini no motor ni charge kini dada. But we'll make do with what we have. Shorikwa àwọn ọmọdé tí ń lọ sí school. That's what makes me so proud of them. I saw this for the first time on CNN. And I was bent on coming down here to see it myself. Until today, at 64 years old, I'm coming to a part of Lagos that I never knew existed. Gbogbo activity to one be Talonra, except I want on baby. Anybody man waraja.
Yes, now.
From okay.
Fish here. I think they buy fish from this place in bulk. So it's from this place.
Wow. Yorùbá tán sọ tí ẹ yàtọ̀ sí Yorùbá tá ń sọ lẹ́nu. Ó tán ní. Now we're walking across one of those bridges across troubled waters. I've been around Lagos all my life. I honestly never knew that a place like this existed in Lagos. And here I am trying to do this documentary to show. And the beauty of it is that the people who live here, from old to young, don't care about what goes on outside. They are content, they are happy. And us who think we have it all are worried about everything on a daily basis. Wow. Now here is the real boat factory. And this is what I call creativity. Honest creativity. People working hard to make a living. There is no shipyard out there that is more creative than what you're looking at here. This is really good. Mo like iṣẹ́ yín. Mo like iṣẹ́ yín gan. Nítorí pé ṣe mọ̀ pé ṣe rí iṣẹ́ tẹ̀ ń ṣe yìí tó bá níbi ta ní Nàìjíríà tó ń ṣe bigger ships. Ẹ̀yin lẹ lè máa lọ bẹ̀ lọ consult fún wọn. Òótọ́ ni mo ń sọ fún ẹ yìí. This is serious hard work and creativity. Ẹ dẹ̀ máa ṣe tán ẹ bá ti gbé sómi, it fails. You can't beat that. Báwo lẹ ṣe kọ́ iṣẹ́ yìí?
Padà lọ sí school díẹ̀ tí kò sí ẹni tó lè ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ìyẹn láti ṣe mọ́ ẹ̀. Kódà gan-an dádì mi kan ló ti ń ṣe. But bí old one yẹn ti tẹ́lẹ̀ kan wà. Type ìyẹn yàtọ̀ sí ìyẹn sọ pé àwọn eléyìí ti wọ́n máa ń gbẹ́ inú ẹ̀ wá ni.
Okay.
So ìyẹn yàtọ̀ sí eléyìí.
Okay, what he's telling me is that he's been building these boats or canoes, whatever you want to call them, for a long time now. He started with his father and he showed me the old ones. As you can see them in the water, they're not using them anymore, but because those were not working the way he wanted, he came up with his own new technology. And this is what his new technology is. This one is in the beginning process, but if you look over here, you see the ones that are already finished and now being coated. That's not painting, that's coating to make it waterproof, so that when they put it in the water, they go way inside the water to get the fish. That you go to restaurants in Lagos and enjoy seafood. And in Yoruba, that's why I was joking with my friends, because in Yoruba they say, you are enjoying the fish and you don't know the work that went into it, starting with this man and these little kids putting these boats together and building them and getting them ready to put in the water and go get us fish. All right, me, Oshegon. Ọlọ́run á bẹ̀ ṣe o. Yes. So, Ogbo Igbo. Okay. Ogbo Yoruba. Okay, tẹ́ bá ti, how long ló máa ń take láti kọ́ irú ọkọ̀ yìí?
Ìgbà wo ló máa gbà yín láti ṣe? Ọjọ́ mélòó lẹ máa fi ń ṣe?
One week lásán? Oh, really? So, kí lẹ máa ń fi ọkọ̀ yẹn ṣe? Ẹja quantity wo lẹ máa ń pa on a given day? How many? How much? And ta ló máa ń rà lọ́wọ́ yín?
Obìnrin ló máa ń rọ tẹ́bá lọ sáńjọ́ a lè pẹ̀jà bí 20,000, 40,000.
Naira lọ́jọ́ kan. So ẹ dẹ̀ máa tà fáwọn restaurant. So àwa tá à ń lọ sí restaurant lọ jẹun, a kàn gba tẹ́gùn sára àmọ́ bí tó ti wá. Tó kọ́ àmọ́ pé bí ibi tẹ́ ti ń gbá gbogbo àwọn ẹja ẹ̀ ní.
You are really coming to buy from this place.
This is good. Kí lorúkọ ẹ? Steven. How long lẹ ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí? Ó ti pẹ́. Okay. Honestly, mo wà very proud. Nítorí pé hard work to make Lagos ní kì í ṣàwọn tán wọ táì kiri. It's not the people that, this is what makes Lagos move. Oshegon. Thank you. Yeah, I like this. This is Lagos. That's a much bigger boat under construction. This one, seriously, this one will be like, this is a huge one, if you guys can see it. And it's the same process. And this probably takes them about 2-3 weeks to complete. Yep. This is amazing. Simply amazing. We always drive the Third Mainland Bridge, and we always see these people fishing in the waters. What we never knew is how the boats were made and how much activity goes on here 24 hours a day. This is where they live, guys. These are their dwelling places. What you're looking at are their houses. And right outside this community, the closest thing to it is Ebute Metta. See, there are kids coming back from school. Good afternoon, how are you? Good girls. There are kids in the community. There are schools in the community. They go to school, they get off about 1 p.m. and they're coming home to get their rest. A full-fledged Lagos community. So now we've seen the gorgeous Ikoyi, very high priced, very high class, very beautiful. We've seen the slums of Makoko. That too is Lagos. Now, not to just give you that traumatic contrast from beautiful to slummy, let me now show you the real irony of Lagos. Because now I'm going to show you beautiful, expensive homes with no facilities. But that's what Bola Ahmed Tinubu built. Okay, now, what I'm trying to show you is my concern for Nigeria and Lagos especially. Now, we're driving through Oniru, Lekki, Aja. All those are in the same axis. As a matter of fact, Oniru borders with Victoria Island. These are areas that just got built in the last 25 years. Some of it, like Oniru and Aja, more or less in the last 10-15 years. And some of the houses you'll see here are very nicely done apartment buildings or single family sizable houses and mansions. Now, take a look and see how it's already looking like Lawansin, the Surulere area. This is supposed to be a residential area. This is supposed to be an area that was developed in the last 10-15 years. Look at those nicely done apartments in front. Those are not cheap. Whoever is renting there is paying significantly to be there. Look at the apartments in front of me. We're approaching just to your left. Look at these apartment buildings in front of us. These are very expensive living. At the top of the one down there, you see the tenants looking out. But now you pay all that rent, and what you're looking out to is more or less what in America or UK or any civilized place you call ghettos and eyesores. Look at beautiful apartment buildings to your left. Look at what you have to your right. Look at street hawkers, roadside mechanics. This is Nigeria. I don't want to say this is Lagos. This is Nigeria. If you go to Enugu, it's the same thing. If you go to Owerri, it's the same thing. If you go to Ibadan, Kano, Makurdi, anywhere you go to in Nigeria, it's the same thing. And the question is, why don't we have a maintenance culture? We build new things, they are very expensive, we move in, we destroy them. 30 years later, we go to a brand new place, build new ones. 25 years later, they become ghettos, we move on to the next part. Now we're leaving Oniru, we're gonna go into Lekki, and we'll end this with Ikoyi as we drive back to end our day. It's been a very long day. I thought I'll show you, this is the entrance into Oniru. So those beautiful apartments you see, when you're coming to visit them, this is your approach to the beauty. Look at all the street hawking. When you drive through Oniru, Lekki, Aja, any of those areas, even the almighty VGC, I start to wonder if 50% of the people you see walking around have any business being there. These are residential areas. Now we're entering Lekki Phase 1, but what would Lagos be without traffic? It's heavy traffic to get in. Now look at all the commercial activity coming into a place where people pay a lot of money to buy land and a lot of money to build nice single family homes and apartment buildings. Here is your approach. Here is your approach. This is your approach to beautiful Lekki. See, that's a hospital, but look at your approach. This is a residential place. This is an expensive residential place. But this is the eyesore you get as you drive in. But it's still Lekki, and people are still paying a lot of money to come in and live here, build here, rent here, and it's relatively safe compared to the unsafe parts of town. But the good thing about Lekki, forget the chaos that it's become, is that you have a lot of, if not everything you need, not to have to go through the hassle of leaving to go shopping. The shopping malls are here, the restaurants are here. You could see the nice hospital is here. That's a KFC right next to a Chicken Republic, right next to a Buka Hut. So it's well endowed with everything you need. Now for balance, let me show you a quieter side of Lekki. The reality is that the whole of Lekki is expensive. But thank God there's a quieter side which you could live in peace without all that noise and helter-skelter going on the other side, which is the side I said the government of the state should be able to control all these miscreants that have no business in being in this area from morning to night. It creates crime, it creates noise. So how do you brag that you built a beautiful city when this is what you built? Yet, let me show you a nicer, more serene side of Lekki. More nice apartments in Lekki. Very beautiful apartments. Quiet living. So I guess you could say that being in Lekki and living in nice residential area, yeah, watch out. This part of Lekki is very residential. These are nice apartment buildings. If I was living in Lekki, this is the kind of place I'd like to live. These are more residential, but Nigerians always find a way to convert residential areas to commercial, and the government does nothing about it. Yep. Tobale, yeah, could make left. Boya, our side them are just strictly residential. No confession, residential. Okay, here is a more serene residential part. As you can see, you don't see any hawkers. This is what a residential part of town should look like. And probably if somebody in the planning department of Lagos State will watch my video and make note of what I'm saying, this is what a residential part of town should look like. This is, look at how serene. If I paid money to build and I live on a street like this in Lekki, I strongly feel that I'm getting my money's worth. This is nice. The street is wide. People did not build their houses into the portion of the street. The gutters are clean. This is nice. So this is Lekki. Lekki, Victoria Island, Eko Atlantic City, Oniru, and we'll drive out through Ikoyi and head home. It's been a long day. It's been about 8 to 10 hours of taping, but I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's a good, comprehensive look at Lagos. Folks, I hope it's been a comprehensive coverage of Lagos. The reason this is important to me, and I think the reason it should be important to you too, is that the hawks that rule our country have started their propaganda and their brainwashing and their sound bites in preparation for the elections of 2027. Elections that are really going to turn out to be selections if Nigerians don't stand up and revolt and rebel and do what happened in Kenya and take their country back from this rogue group called leadership. Your federal capital territory thug called a minister, Nyesom Wike, is already planning to duplicate the thuggery that his idol, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has run in Lagos for 25 years. The houseboy called the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, is already sound-biting Nigerians about the beauty of the work that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did in Lagos and how he's going to duplicate it in Nigeria. What beauty? What did Bola Ahmed Tinubu do in Lagos that was not there, set up by the previous administrators of Lagos? What Bola Ahmed Tinubu did in Lagos is introduce thuggery as another wing of government, which is why Lagos has become the thug capital of Africa. That's what he did in Lagos. So what he's going to duplicate in Nigeria is a thug way of life, if you let him, in 36 states, which in other words, you could say Nigeria is finished. Just think about what awaits us if the thug rule of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is what continues in 2027 in Nigeria, and the threat of Donald Trump becoming the president of the United States after the election of 2024 November. Folks, for us Nigerians who live here and don't understand the magnitude of the need to bring about a change in Nigeria regardless of what it takes before 2027, Ghanaians have a home to go to if Trump becomes a menace. South Africans have a home to go to if Trump becomes a menace. Even Kenyans have a home to go to. With Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his thugs in charge, Nigerians will be stuck between a rock in America and a hard place in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Wenye mazolo bio akwa nwa zoro bio Max ibia bunye go kwanu mo no fube nazo olaga ni biazugo mmanwu olaga do ni biazugo akwa nwa ilochi o biko rapuzo kona bazia I'm kwa mnika gogodia Waligwe kwelona Ikeja mabele bege Eku kampune kene Amaga ndinso Chukwe mekalumo Ike chukwu negaje Esi nwanne mekenene Ịlapụ ife nini na-eme wee bịa Nke gosili na anyị na gị bụ nwanne wisdom megade Ka nye gị maịkị ka ogobanya bụ egwu Isili maxi ọ bụ na-etiri egwu a Malụkwa malụ n'imego m ife ọjọọ Wee sị gị nwanne m ife ọbụ na ịchọlụ na ngeme Wisdom onume ekene gị Bama nwe iyo biko lapụ Nabasị ya